Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Oh, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. As we're talking in this quantum conversation, we are talking today about our soul. We're going to learn what the soul is and how it works and what it does and how we can get to know our soul. This really is a popular question that we get a lot of. And my guest today is Addison Ames. He is a full body channel of Metatron, and he's also an awakened spiritual teacher and someone on his own mission to assist us in this great shift of the ages. Addison, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Well, Loren, it's a joy to be here. Thank you for having me, and hi to everybody watching.
Yes, well, welcome everyone. We are excited because anytime we have a full body channel on our show, it is wonderful to see how you work and how that operates. So we invite those in our Zoom audience to ask some questions of Metatron. We're going to get there in a moment. But first, the bigger topic of the day is to get to know your soul. And this is, we could call it our higher self, can we? Or how would we really know when we truly are connected with our soul? Because one of the big questions is embodiment, soul embodiment, higher self embodiment. Is soul and higher self the same thing, or what is your take on this?
That's a great question. It's a question I get a lot, so thank you for it. So I do a number of things. I'm a channel. Soul work is one of my specialties. So I'll talk about the way that I see it. And I'm a huge respecter of the way everybody works. So some people may say it's this, that, or the other. But we all have our perspectives. So my perspective is primarily is that we're like walking, talking souls. Really, our souls are us. And in this place, this space, this venue of Earth, humanity kind of is always working to what I call kind of get trued up. Like if you ever try to like line some things up, like you're trying to true some things up so they match up. So I see our entire life really as one big true up exercise. Like how can I be in true? So we have what I call like a knower and a not knower. Like we all have many selves, many bodies. We're a multiplicity, really. We're not just one thing, we're a many. So if you think of us as walking, talking souls, but we also have like a personality or a persona, like you're Loren, I'm Addison. We're like a human doing something here, and we know that. Our soul, as the truest part of us, our real essence, is always the knower, the one that knows, our divineness, our divinity. And then we as our personality is going through this life in primarily the third dimension, seeking and finding. That's like a keynote of the human race, seek and find. Let's figure it out, let's think it out, let's talk it out. It's like why we're here talking, people are listening because we're sharing ideas so people can figure it out, so we can figure it out. Where in a way we're in the cloak or the suit of the not knower, the personality, but our soul knows. So throughout our life, we're always like seeking and finding and uncovering stuff of us. Some of us do shadow work. I've done shadow work myself. But you're always trying to unearth our truth, the truth of us. So we always know our soul is us. And sometimes things happen in our life where you're like, wow, that truth of me really shone through. That was really wild. That was like the essence of me was there, like you're a speaker, you're a journalist, whatever you may be, and the words just come. And sometimes you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. That was like the essence of me. That's your soul speaking. So in our life, we're always trying to line up the knower and the not knower, which is what I call soul alignment, so that we can truly know. So to answer your question, our path continually, in my viewpoint, continually reveals the truth of us as we go. So our purpose generally starts to show, starts to show, starts to show. And as we move through the evolution of our own personal story, many times we uncover it more and more.
Yes, and so this knowing, this deep knowing is why it's so important that we really tune into the knowing that we know. We hear this all the time. You know what you know within you. And so as we're going through, and the soul always knows, but the personality is the not knower, there's this conflict that goes on between the head and the heart, right? And so would you say that the heart is, as that's the importance of tuning into the heart, is to tune into the soul more because we're in alignment in that way? Can you talk about the importance of being in the heart and this centeredness?
Sure. Well, I'm a heart-centered person. I'm a love-centered person. I work in love as love. What I generally say, and some people go, really? Is what many people think of as their heart, I really think is their soul. So, people work in different ways, but I think really what we think of as our heart is our soul. So if your like heart is really like you feel that real heart longing to do something, I see that as a soul call, that your soul is really calling you to do something. Because the way I see it, your soul is your best guide. Your soul knows you. It holds the definition of you, all the stipulations of you, and all your waypoints. So that's everything from like my characteristics, my identity, to what I need to do in my life, what I have to do in my life, like my mission, my purpose, the places, the locations and geographies I need to go, and all the people that I need to meet in my life, like soul contracts and soul agreements and things like that. The soul knows and guides us as humans, personalities, through all those things. So if you're really seeking your heart and your soul look in the same place, many times as a tool, and a tool that I love is when you're laying in bed at night, you kind of put the busyness of the day behind you, lay in your bed, calm down, meditate for a few minutes. What I do is I lay on my back and I rub this part of my body, kind of like the heart zone, and I connect with my soul. And I say, soul, how am I doing? What do I need to do? Am I on point? What am I missing? What questions do I need to ask? What am I looking for? Can you throw me a line here? And many times in the dreamscape or through other people that are brought into our lives or just ideas that dawn on us, our soul can say, hey, think about this. Can you work through this? Can you meet this person? Can you say this to this person? Can you send an email to this person? And your soul, I would say 100 times out of 100 times, will give you exactly what you need to do exactly what you need to do.
Yes, okay. That's really important. Very good tip. I think we're all going to be doing that. It's very simple as well, but really very, very powerful. So then, in your own journey, maybe you want to talk a little bit about your awakening experience here and stepping into your role as a spiritual teacher and helping people understand their soul. But let's talk a little bit about the trust and the feeling of trust, because oftentimes we may get that little message, but then perhaps it's the ego that steps in and stomps its muddy boots all over an idea that we get or something. How do you really fully anchor into the trust and feel confident? Because at times, we've said before, it feels like we're at war with our head and our heart because there's such a great divide between the two. How do you distinguish this trust in your soul or the feeling that you get from that?
For sure. Well, first, let me address the first part of your question, Lauren. I'll talk a little bit about my awakening story and then get to that. I think it's all really cool stuff. Because trust has been trusting factors and trusting myself, learning to trust others has been a key part of kind of my overall development in my life story. So it all ties together. My background really is marketing. The majority of my career has been international corporate marketing, and so I did that for a long time in New York, San Francisco, and other major media markets. So that's kind of like what I did for a long time, and that's what I awakened out of, if you want to call it that. Although it was really a fun career. Before that, and this is kind of a fun part of the story, is I was always a real spiritual kid. I was always kind of connected to spirit, to things above, as above, so below, kind of like, supernatural, metaphysical kind of things. But I grew up in a very traditional, fundamentalist, evangelical kind of home environment. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, Bible Belt. Church was really probably the biggest social part of my life. And so it was Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Saturday, Sunday, the cycle continued. I went to a Christian high school. I went to a Christian college. My first job out of Christian college was as a minister of music at a Church of God in Atlanta, Georgia. So I did church work for a little bit. And so I was always connected to spirituality and concepts of God and higher things, and kind of like a spiritual journey. And then I moved to New York. I actually got picked up by a modeling agency in New York, believe it or not. And so modeling took me to New York, and that's how I got to New York. And then I kind of moved into marketing from that. I did that for a long time. I lived in New York, San Francisco, Florida, and so then my spiritual awakening happened. It was kind of a process of events where I began to have higher dimensional beings come and talk to me, as I'm sure maybe you or many of your viewers have had happen to them. They started to have higher dimensional beings. For me, it was archangels came and started talking to me and really teaching me about real high concepts. And, I went through that questioning stage of, am I crazy? What's going on here? But the information was so good, so clear, so wise, so high. It was really amazing. And so really the four archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael, kind of guided me through the first steps of my awakening. And then I kind of was led by them to go see a Reiki master. And she was kind of a spiritual guide for me in the human realm. And so I worked with her for about 6 months straight. I would see her every week, sometimes twice a week. She really helped me with a lot of it and kind of got a lot of the lower densities out of my system. And so ultimately, my guides guided me to leave marketing. And they said, go to your boss this day at this time and tell him this and quit, basically. And I did. And so then I started my own spiritual business. I started channeling. So I left marketing and went right into spiritual work, awakened work full time. So now I've been doing this for a while. So that's a quick look at my awakening story. It was really a big transition, especially leaving like the marketing world for decades, really, and then started doing this kind of stuff. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, and I know you're going to talk about the trust factor, but did something happen then? Because Reiki is such a powerful tool. We hear this over and over again, and it's such a beautiful vehicle for people to really awaken in their life and open up to other energy. Was there something was there a push that comes to shove for you in leaving that marketing world? Or was it just your opening to the higher beings that you started listening more and more to?
Well, let's say since the awakening happened, my guides and archangels are pushy. And so I have had, since I've been doing this experience, my guides, Metatron, everybody basically says, you need to do this, do this. And they've been right on 100% of the time. So they literally moved me, guided me to do all of these things and pushed me into some very uncomfortable zones, leaving a 6-figure job to do, start a whole new business with nothing, no clients, no nothing. I started with a zero, and built it from the ground up. And so I would have probably, in my right mind, my logical mind, never have done that. But my guides, who have been very, very audible with me, really have guided me very strategically, step by step, to do all these things. So they're the ones that really pushed me.
Yeah. And then so this segues into the trust factor because my goodness, we were talking about the war between the head and the heart. Was that space real for you, or did you just know from the information that your guides were giving you that it was the right path? Because we hear a lot of people here that say, I know I can sense it, but wow, I'm scared, or I don't know what to do. And yet here you did it. So that's what's inspiring for other people. And I'm just wondering, what was that level of trust then?
Well, when I went through the awakening process, I'd say probably the largest part of what I dealt with at that point in time was putting away the pain of the past. So I'd say for the first 6 months, from like the initial awakening events, it was a lot of letting the past go. It was some serious crying, sobbing, releasing the old, cleaning up my side of the street, as it were, and really moving in from those low densities into the higher densities. And for the viewers you're talking about, I would say doubt probably is your number one biggest enemy, and it has been for me too. So it's taken me some time, and it really comes down to intention setting and really saying I've got to be true to myself. I think the truest, like our soul, the truest part of ourself really knows us. So I would say listening to your soul is number one, and really setting the intention and really focusing on letting the doubt go. And the number one predator there really is self-doubt. It's not so much doubting the people around you, but we know. I have a book coming out very, very shortly called Knowing. People can find out more about it on my website, but it's called Knowing. We are the knowing of ourselves. It's a very beautiful book. It talks about really humanity is a race that's controlled. We're always told what to do. We've been told what to do by school, elementary school, kindergarten, preschool, told by mom and dad what to do, told by college what to do, told by religion what to do, politics. I mean, the list goes on and on. News media, et cetera, et cetera. Television shows, Hollywood, everything tells us what to do. But we know. And so this book talks about how we go from a race of being told what to do to a race of knowers, from tellers to knowers. So doubt is kind of like that barrier or that wall that is in the way between you and the truth of yourself. The true self, the soul, the essence of you knows you better than anyone. It is the personalized understanding of yourself as the divine. It is the divinity of you. So we all know, we all have it. So the idea of moving through doubt, I would say, is part of the overall soul alignment process, becoming true. For me, overcoming doubt, especially with like these kinds of gifts, I went to my marketing folks, my boss, and I said, "Oh, I'm a channel. I'm channeling," and they kind of went, "Okay, get out of my office. That's weird."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see you later. I'm sure you worked in the news media for quite some time, and you have a background of kind of mainstream
And I
work,
would never have been able to even do anything like this. So,
right?
I see how you would feel. What was that like? It's hard.
It was hard. I lost a lot of friends. You
Mhm.
find out who the friends are that are really, really true to you, who love the essence of you, and you make new friends. But I would say being courageous is a big part of it. But sometimes you got to say, the essence of me is really telling me this. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna like doubt about it for a year and wait for a long time, is like to thine own self be true, as the old saying says. My heart, my soul is telling me to do this. Soul, you want me to do this? Yeah, you get some confirmation from yourself. Maybe you check in with a couple of your close colleagues or friends, the people that you really trust in your life. Then you say, I'm going to go for it. Because it really is in that exercise of confidence that we overcome. And in the overcoming, you find really what you're called to do. Generally, the way the divine works and the way that I see it is there are many times hurdles to jump over, things to overcome. And that's the way we become strong in our lives, by overcoming and pushing through the blockages that many times are the things that our soul even says, can you overcome this? You think you can solve this? You think that you can do this? And it guides you through it. It makes you stronger so you can be really the person that you're supposed to be. The truth of you really shines through.
Mm, I really love that. And we can feel that presence of knowing within ourselves. So
Mhm.
let me ask you, you gave us a beautiful tool to use every night, rub that heart zone, tune in
Mhm.
with the soul. But I can still hear a question from our audience. How do you truly listen to the soul? And when you know the soul is speaking to you, there's no more doubt, is there? I mean, we know, we can sense the truth of our soul. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, the place and space that we're in, some people call it the density, right? Earth zone. It's a little bit like molasses. It's a little bit like quicksand. You got to move and you got to push through. You got to think things through. It's a process-driven device that we live in. You can make some big jumps in your evolution for sure. I've done it. Some other people done it. Maybe you've done it. But it's always a process. It's a sequential order of events that we have to go through. That's why people have a spiritual journey, because you go through it, you transform, you move through it, you move through it. So I encourage people who are trying to do that to say, first of all, be gentle with yourself, is that sometimes it's a journey, it's a progress, it's a process. But really it comes down to really focusing and listening, quieting the mind, and going here. So you call it the heart space, and indeed it is. I call this a soul space, really. The way I see the soul, and there's different ways to see it, is it really is you. And that's a good way to look at it. Like look in the mirror and say, I'm a walking, talking soul, and see if you get some bounce back from that. But it's also kind of like a sonic device. It's like a frequency mass that holds the definition of us. And generally, I see it kind of being in this same kind of zone right here. For me, I can feel it here or up here, just depending on what's going on. Sometimes it bounces up and down. But doing that that process at night, that kind of tradition at night, and doing it for 7 days straight. So I'd say do it for a week straight and set up the time that you want to do it. And I would say do it for 10 minutes each night. Set the intention, I'm talking with my soul, the truth of me, really focus on it, quiet the mind, talk to it, listen to it. Do it every night about the same time, like as a tradition for 7 nights, and see what you get. That persistence pays off. Like I said earlier, you might get some ideas in your dream, some new people come to you, some new ideas in your waking consciousness. But I say that's that's really the best way to do it. Your soul is always listening. Your soul is never apart from you. Your soul is always with you. So just stick with it, quiet your mind, and allow it to be true.
Thank you for that. We will be on that mission and watching our dreams and paying attention to this. Really
Very.
quite important in our time. Do you see the world where everyone is connected in that way? Because that world is totally different now. It's going to change everything. It's already starting to happen. So that's exciting. It is exciting. Do you see that world where people are tuned in that way?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, what I clearly see, and I'm sure you and your viewers will agree with this, is we're going through really a mass awakening. Is the way I see it, we're part of an evolutionary journey of the planet and of the human race. We're getting better and better and better. And some people go, "Are you sure? Have you seen the news? Have you seen what they're saying? This and that and the other." But if you look back in time and look through history, we used to cut people's heads off at 16 and put their heads on a stake and put it in the center of town. We used to kill witches. We used to do all these kinds of things that now are really crazy. Sure, we do some crazy things now, but what I see is we are elevating our consciousness and the way we think, our mind. So what I see is probably in about 600 years, a very different planet, one that is much more instinctually connected in the mind and in thought and in soul, because it really takes all three to make it work. Because people think, we all have minds, we have to think through our days. It's an important part of what we do. But when we're connected really with our soul, even more so than with our heart, which has our evolutionary mission built into it, which has as part of it an ascension plan, because as every generation is born in, born in, born in, it has with it a whole new level of ascension knowledge. With every generation, we are exponentially growing. So the way I see it, there's no way around getting to the place that you talk about where we're all part of the same or more aligned soul mission. And I think it's going to be incredibly powerful. That's what we're all part of, really.
I think it's beautiful. And we've heard that this is an exciting time to be here on the planet. And we're actually grateful for everyone watching and listening, because they are true light workers and doing the work, and actually great guides to other people. And I just want to say, Addison, thank you for stepping into your role, because wow, it is not easy, and you are just a great role model for all of us. And so that is very, very inspiring. And it builds our confidence in knowing what we know. So thank you for that. I want to have you talk a little bit about the channeling experience then, because I know some would say, oh, I want what he's having. Like, how would we begin to channel? What was that like for you? And can you define along the way what it means to be a full body channel?
Mhm. For sure, for sure. Thank you for what you said. I really appreciate it. Just to kind of piggyback on it, I call myself a transformation story. I've transformed and transformed and transformed. And so going back to what you said earlier about, listeners that maybe timid about kind of moving forward and moving beyond doubt into trust, is also kind of my encouragement is be aware that you may be a transformation story and allow your life to change and transform, because I really see that as a key part of the overall ascension journey. So just to kind of piggyback on that. For me, when the awakening for myself happened, I really began to get all those auditory experiences and hear higher dimensional beings speak. And so, pardon me, one of the first ones was Metatron. So Metatron came in very early on and started to talk to me and teach me and work with me. And so the channeling started with Metatron very early on and very easy. And so, I could feel my body move, I could feel my head move, I could feel my mouth move, and it just kind of just started very naturally and organically. I knew it was Metatron. I was working with some other people to kind of validate it with some other people to confirm it was Metatron. And, I always encourage people, because there's a lot of people out there that want to channel, really be careful, work with maybe a mentor, work with some others. There's a lot of stuff out there. So, I help some people learn to channel. It's not the main thing that I do, but there are some other people that do that. Make sure you're working with beings in and of the light. Make sure you're working with beings that are high dimensional beings. Make sure that you're getting the right beings and that you're channeling the correct things. So I really encourage people to be careful with that. Not scared, but full of care. So I work with some others, some professionals and some experts in the field to, really tune it in. And it just happened very, very fast. Some people are called to channel. So I also say to people, I can kind of read their soul, and I can say, I know you want to do this, but you're not called to do it. So I'm going to encourage you not to. You can do whatever you want. You're a sovereign being. You have free will. You choose. But my advisement is, it's not in your soul mission. So, watch, enjoy, learn from channels, but probably not do it. That's my advisement. But some people are, and some people may do it for a while. People may do it for themselves. But at a level, we're all channels. We're all divine beings. So my hope is that channeling as, let's say, an art or a craft becomes more widely known. I see channeling becoming really much more of a broad spectrum kind of thing, a much more wide audience appreciating it. So I'm really excited about that. And, it's hard work, honestly. It's hard to be a channel, because you're dealing with multiple personalities and multiple beings. Those beings put on personalities to be able to kind of do this. So it's like you're working with a very wise, high-dimensional teacher all the time. So it can be challenging, but certainly it's a lot of fun.
Okay, well, let's go into a beautiful channeling then with Archangel Metatron. It'll be interesting to witness you doing this. And I want to put out for our audience on Zoom that you can ask a question of Archangel Metatron because, as you said, Addison, he likes the interaction. So in the Q&A box, please go ahead and put your question. And I'm sure as you start, he'll come through with a main message for all of us. So thank you, Addison.
Sure. Yeah, he'll usually talk for a few minutes and then he'll say, Lauren, do you have any questions? And then you can jump in. Sound good?
Awesome. Thank you.
And it takes me just a minute to transition, so give me just a moment. The truth of oneself is you are. As you know yourself, you are. Dear Loren, the dear thing that you need to understand today, dear meaning the most important thing, is this. You are important. Do you get that? So what I did was just play a little mind game with you. Did you get it?
Yes, you did. I did get that, and I'm chuckling right here.
Because I said you're important. Dear Loren, dear means important. I went back to the fact that I called you dear, which means you're important. Did you get that?
Yes.
So you connected those things. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. You're very intelligent. So what I am demonstrating, I or we, and we'll explain to Metatron, you, who we are in a few moments, is this. We string things together. We string ideas together. Do you know why?
No.
Because that's the way the human mind works. We'll say it again for you and for the listeners who are watching is this. You are and you are. You are a human being who has a mind. We work in many things, heart, mind, soul, and other. But the human has a mind, and the mind is very important because of this. It thinks, and as you think, you are. As you know, you are. Now, the truth of oneself is this. The way the mind works, the human mind works, is this. You string ideas together. And this is really the gift of today's message to you and to all who hear is this. As you think, what you are doing is stringing ideas together. Now, some of you may sound in your mind, is this ascension? And that's what we do, is we are specialists in ascension, meaning we bring down high information and we help humanity awaken and to know themselves and to know themselves and to know themselves in new ways. And the way the human ventures out is to explore new ideas, just like in that wonderful TV show Star Trek and others who say we go out and we venture and we find things and we explore. We go and we look and we see and we know. As you ascend, what you are doing is gathering, 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 gathering. In this beautiful show that we have here together today, and we thank you for allowing us to be on this, is this. We present ideas, ideas, ideas. And you and the audience go, that's an idea. That's a good idea. That's a bad idea. We like that. We don't like that. We like him. We don't like him. We like you. We don't like you. People are always thinking. So in the heart, in the soul, which is the essence of you, the heart of you, the place that knows, you know, yet you still have a mind. And you asked earlier about, well, how do we reconcile this and this? How do we get them to work together? Well, the truth of this is this. It's hard. It's hard to do. Because the mind, and this will help you, is always searching and finding. Now, the key part of the human race is you seek and you find. Just like you guys said earlier, seek and find, seek and find, seek and find, seek and find. That's why people watch your show, to find. You are an offerer of advice, which means these are ideas for your consideration. Take a look at it and see if you like. As one knows oneself, as one knows oneself, one is. And you guys talked about the heart and the soul, which is the essence of you, which works with this because it has to. There is no human without the mind. The mind is. So the way to reconcile, to answer your question from earlier, is this. Allow your mind to listen to your heart and seek and find, listen to this, what the heart will. So, many people, yea, even you, go, what do I need to know? Research, 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 all from the mind. What do I need to know? All from the mind. Take a break and allow yourself to ask your soul, which is really more important than your heart. Hate to tell you that. Your soul is more important than your heart. Heart space is good, heart center is good, love, 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 that's great. But the truth is the divine essence of you, your soul, which knows more than your heart does, knows. So take a break from just this and say, okay, I use this as a device to string ideas together. And please know this. This gift is the gift of today's message, is you string ideas together with your mind. That's all you do with that. That's what this does, string ideas together. Is when you consult your heart or your soul and say, what advice do you have for me as what to research? Thank you. Get that information, knock it up here, and then string ideas together. Because in the stringing of ideas together, the soul rejoices. Believe it or not, and some of you say, well, the mind is such a hideous thing. We say it's a marvelous thing. You need it. We work with the soul because the soul knows, let it be, let it be, let it be. But the soul needs the mind. Please don't discard your mind. Your soul knows. Your mind knows only by the stringing of ideas. So it takes a lot of time. In the human realm, it takes time to go here and there and in between and understand the things that you find. So if you're wasting your time looking for stuff that you don't need, well, you're not sublime. The beauty of life is this. Consult the heart, consult the soul, and let it conduct the mind. Give it a mission. My mind's on a mission. Where'd the mission come from? My soul. Your soul has the mission of you. Let it drive your mind. Questions?
Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is so good. Consulting the heart. So when the mind is stringing together the ideas, we love how you say to weave in the consult of the soul. And I think it's really important to remember the soul. So I don't know if I have any questions about this, except when we look at the bigger picture, outside of ourselves, what can we do when there's seemingly strange situations in the outer world and it might not be ours to be concerned about, whether it's politics or education or the great shift of the ages? Is there any advice you can give on not putting too much weight or fear or doubt on the external world, but really shifting more into finding peace within ourselves?
Yes, 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 yes. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. The truth is this. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
Mind your own business. Really, write it down, please. Put it on the screen, send it home. Mind your own business. Listen, you people, we'll explain to us a little bit about who we are. We are Metatron on high. We're not archangels, by the way. From a high degree, in the very divine presence of us, what we are fixers. We're not angels. We'll explain that in a second. We're fixers. We're very high beings who have no bodies and no form. We're just like thought. We're consciousness, as you would say. We say we're really thought or we're think, is what we say. And as we drop down, drop down, drop down, drop down, what we do is we look. We kind of seek and find, but we know. And we go, look at this place, this space, this venue. In your case, Earth, and we go, wow, this is a place that doesn't know. It needs fixing. So we drop into it and we say, what do we got to fix? What do we need to do? And we help you all fix. Now, we put on the cloak or the understanding of archangel and work with people as we need to. So yes, we are an archangel in that way. But from a very high, let's say, birth point standing, we're not archangels, but we drop in and we do it as we need to do. But we do a lot of other things besides just archangeling. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yes, archangeling is a job we do, but it's not really who we are. Just like you are, let's say, a woman, and you do this job, but it's not really who you are. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So, what we say to humanity as we look at it is we say, you're very nosy. You're very nosy. What's going on here? What battle can I fight today? You love to take battles up, don't you? What can I fight for? This and that. Put it down, bring it up, break it down, all these kinds of things. What we say is don't be armchair battlers. Mind your own business, really. Because with the consultation of media, which is everywhere, you are drawn here and there and everywhere. You're pulled in places you don't need to be. Allow yourself to really consult your soul and say, where do I need to be? What do I need to focus on? What is me? Listen, you all have your own very specific, individualized understandings of yourself and your own specific, individualized journey. Each of you are very specific. Sure, there are archetypes out there, here, there, and in between, but you are on a journey. Each of you are like little robots who have their own programming called the soul guidance system to guide you through. So if you don't need to be fighting a war over here through whatever you pay your attention to, don't do it. This is the age of distraction. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
It is. If you don't need to do it, if it's not in your soul program, in the essence of you, the divinity of you, please don't do it. We hope that helps. And try not to be so nosy. Really, mind your own business. And we say this in love, and in the high, where we drop down low and say, please focus on you. Please. What
Thank you.
else?
Oh my gosh. I just have to say a portion of that just made me want to cry with joy because it doesn't have to be so heavy as we mind our own business. Thank you.
No.
No.
Darling, beautiful one, beautiful, beautiful one. The freedom of this is this. Don't give up your life. It is your life. Listen to this, please, please, all of you. Every moment that you live, every moment that you live, is the essence of you being played. A song, a beautiful song. When you give yourself, out in whatever you may do, you're giving your life away. You don't need to do it. Don't do it. You don't have to fight every fight. In the truth of you, each of you has a very specific mission. Do it. If it's not part of it and someone asks you to do it or you think you want to do it, say no. It's a very high no. It's a no that says, it's freeing, really. I don't have to. Thank you. I wish you well. I send you love. But I detach from it because I got my own thing to do. Now, if everyone focused on their own mission, can you imagine that world? Where everyone focuses on themselves instead of being involved in everyone else's business. Mind your own. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Feeling really good here and on point. We have questions from our beautiful Zoom audience. First one is from Arietta, who says, I often become disconnected from the heart and source. What can I do to avoid this? And thank you from my heart.
Well, you, dear one, what we would say to you is this. It is a misunderstanding. This is for you specifically. It's a misunderstanding. Now listen to yourself. Is you are playing games with yourself. And this is what humans do. You are hearing from your heart, but you don't know it. Without divulging too much of your own personal life, dear one, what we would say to this is you're doing it. Listen a little closer, if you will, but you know it. Let it come into focus and do it. It's there. We hope that helps.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I love how these questions really resonate with all of us, an aspect of all of us. So it's beautiful. Here is a comment from Susan. I do card readings for myself, and I've been, for the most part, asking my guides, angels, and source for answers until 2 days ago when my cards told me to ask my higher self, soul. So this is what I am doing now. Am I on the right path?
For Susan, the truth is, yes, you are. What we would say is there is something coming for you in about 6 months that's going to change your life. Be open for it, be ready for it, and be ready to move.
Physically move.
Didn't say that.
Uh,
Listen, listen to this, please.
action, action.
The way we work is this. We're very high. We're very high. When we drop down low, what we like to do, we're kind of like ascension specialists, all right? We're ascension specialists. We drop down low, and what we want to do is get Earth to think better. Let's say Earth has a soul and knows what to do, but its thinking is cockeyed. You look around your world today, you say, what are those people thinking? You ever say that before? What are those people thinking? What are they thinking? Right? So the truth is the soul knows, but the mind is a little cockeyed right now. So many times what we do is we drop the ideas in and we say, think about it, please. So we won't always give, let's say, the exact answer, but we'll give an answer and say, think it through. So for the dear caller, what we would say is this: move, which could be probably a number of things, but be aware, watch, and think it through. It really is a great gift. You've got some great stuff coming for you, so we're excited for you.
Thank you. Beautiful. All right. Here is a question from Nancy. Can Metatron tell me what is my next best step for my spiritual journey?
Nancy, yes, is that right?
Nancy.
Nancy, Nancy, Nancy. We're going to give you 2 words: get free. And that's all we'll say. Get free. We hope that helped.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I just want to share, Susan commented that she is selling her house. Beautiful. All right. Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
Larry's got a question. You may have already answered it, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because I know this is on the minds and hearts of many. What's going on with the strong right-wing political movement in red states and Congress, limiting democratic processes, negating minority rates, allowing more gun presence, and institutionalizing Christianity and the white race power? Will it take over America, or will there be a backlash and it will weaken?
Yes. Our answer is this. Now, the truth is this, is that when it comes to political issues, we say very little. Do you know why?
No.
Why? Because it is convoluted with great bias of, let's say, extenuating belief systems. You ever been to a political rally before or seen it on TV?
Yes.
People are very angry.
Yes.
So what we say to this is we go high for sure, and we don't comment on political issues.
Okay. Yes. Feel that, and mind our own business. Thank you on this ascension journey. Larry, we really hope that helps. And Angela, hi, Angela. Angela says, what is your perspective that we are passenger consciousness, meaning we are just here to observe what the body does, not necessarily to create?
Yes and no. So the truth is, passenger, sure, that makes sense, but your body's alive. You are one big consciousness. The idea that you're separate from your body to us is kind of silly. Like the guy here before you, this guy right here said, you're a walking, talking soul. Sure, that works for the way you guys talk. The way we see you as a high being that drops down and looks at Earth, what we see you are little minds. Now, not in the mind like this mind, but let's say big thinkers, you would say consciousnesses. The way we see things is that there is a mind of all. That's kind of the way we see the creator, what you might call God, is there is a big mind and you all are thinkers in it. Okay? And the thinker, the big thinker, thinks as you and you are. So there is no separation between the thought or the consciousness that you are and what you call yourself, or you. You are, this idea of you are divine, let's talk about that for a second. We think this will answer your question, dear caller, is this, is you are the divine, the big thinker, creator, source, whatever you want to call it, this source of all for sure. That which thinks is you. You're in it. In you, you live and breathe and have your being. You are it. There's no separation from it, yet you think you are in your own individuated separation experience. Now, the complicatedness of all of this, the idea that you are a visitor in your body is a way to see it. And in the complexity or multiplicity of it all, there's many different ways to see. Many. For us, as we work with humanity to know itself better, and you could say know yourselves as divine, which is a part of it, but to kind of think better. You could call it one big soul alignment mission, which is kind of fun, in a way, it is what it is. But you are consciousness that thinks it has form, but doesn't. You are thinkers who think, and the thinking is that you think that you're thought and you're thunk. And so as you look around, what you see is density, but it's really all thought that is thunk. What do you think? Does it make sense to you?
Yes, thank you.
So to call her, just to give some extra kind of clarity, because really another thing, Loren, dear, beautiful, magnificent Loren, the big thing that people are seeking today is clarity. They come to your show for knowledge, understanding, seeing cool stuff, but it helps them see clearly. On the ascension journey, you're always moving up, moving up, moving up, more knowledge, more understanding, seeing yourself differently, seeing the world differently, seeing everything differently. And as you move up to the higher escalades, you need new glasses. You need to see clearly. So as people take information in, string the ideas together, take it in, string it in, string it in, string it in, many times as you convolute all this information together, it's hard to see it in clarity. So the focus of your work, the way that we see it on high, is this, is you bring people information, all this information collects and give clarity. So people get to aha moments. Oh, okay, I'm getting it. I'm seeing it. Okay, good. To say that ascension is not mind is wrong. It is soul, it is heart, compounded with mind. So the way it all works together is this, truly, when one is able to say, I know. You get it? I know. It is the heart, the mind, the soul, the body, the being, the consciousness, the God, the divinity, the creator, the mind of all that says, I'm here and I know. And in the truth and the power of that one says, I understand why I'm here. In truth, the answer to the existential question of why, why? The thinker goes, why? Why, God? Why? Why am I here? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why? Why? You know the question? Why? 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 Why this? Why that? Why the other? Because the true meaning of the human, watch this, is to know, which is the conglomerization of all the experiences that you have here in this human experience, within the mind of all, into ideas that are generated in the mind of all, to the mind of all, so that it can enjoy, watch this, the idea of you. The idea of you. The idea that the Creator loves you. Does God love me? Well, we would say this, Metatron on high, very, very high, is the answer is you would not be if it were not. You are and you are. Another big reason why you're here, and there are many, remember this is a complex place and space, is that you are here to know as much as you can, experience as much as you can, savor as much as you can, because life is here for a reason, and that's to live it. And so one of the big encouragements we give to people as we work with them, talk with them, walk with them, etc., is please enjoy life. If you've got a good life, live it. You got some troubles, work through it. You got some problems, solve them. Be. In the truth of oneself, one is a delight, and all is. Other questions?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are activating us on this ascension journey. You are raising our vibration. You are unraveling us from density. You are getting us free, as you recommended to one of our questions. And I just want to take a moment and thank you for that, because it feels so rich. Thank you. It is multiple aha moments. And thank you.
And we thank you. But maybe leave you with one last idea, or was there another question?
Oh, there's a few more questions. Yes.
Please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Pamela says, I have been through a lot of turmoil. I know this is the typical question. However, I'm wondering, what's my purpose?
Yes. All right. Well, here's a fun one for you. Now, some of you may go, really? Now, listen. So we'll talk about him for a second, the guy you call Addison, and we do this sometimes because he doesn't like it. It's fun for us to do. So as we look at his life, he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot. He's been through a lot. He's had a lot of loss. He's had a lot of transfiguration. A lot of stuff happened to him. For someone who goes through a lot, like caller, you've been through some stuff. We acknowledge, we see you, we hear you, we know you. As we look at you, we say you've been through some stuff. Good job. The idea of life is this: it is not all love and light. And some of you may say, well, I thought it was all love and light. Have you looked around? Have you looked at your life? Have you looked at kids playing on the ground who like to kill bugs and kill things? Listen, life is about overcoming and seeing the best in everything. It's about the journey, which generally, especially for you all here on this call, is an upward journey. Better and better and better. Now, back to caller's comment and question. Which we see is really more than a question, more of a statement that may help you. We hope this helps you, dear beautiful one. We call you all beautiful because we appreciate your journeys. Because you guys live in a place and space that's difficult. It's a shitty place. Some of you may not like that, but it is a hard place to move through. Now you have good days, you have glory days, and things are great. But compared to some other places and spaces that we work that's a lot easier than Earth, you guys got it hard. You guys got it bad. Because, believe it or not, it is part of the journey of the Earth realm to come through difficulties and prevail. Now, if you're on an ascension journey, please know this. Part of the way you could see your ascension journey is prevail. Move through it, solve, overcome it. Be better, be stronger, be greater, be taller, be lighter, be brighter, whatever you want to call it. So caller, for you, divine loves you. Now listen to this. This is a fun one. Many people have complex lives. As divine works, divine is learning through it all, even the bad stuff, believe it or not. So those of you who have had difficult lives and overcome a lot, you're highly valuable. You're high producers. Because you are creating a lot of experiences in your understanding and the idea of you that help divine to understand and to see. So for you, dear one, what we say is thank you. May we give you, caller, and please let us know so we can honor your sovereignty and your privacy. May we give you some words of input. Please let us know, yes or no.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. For you, dear one, it is almost done. The difficulties and travails that you talk about are almost done. Now, for many times, people in life have a certain time they have to go through. Some call it the dark night of the soul. Some call it pity. Some call it whatever. Some call it God help me, God save me, God get me out of this. What did I get myself into? Oh my God, what's going on with my life? I thought it was good. The shit hit the fan. And by the way, we talk with language sometimes it's very real, so we hope we don't offend anybody, but we are very real teachers because it works. People need real language. We don't need mamby-pamby stuff to ascend. Humanity needs help. Let's get in there and do it. So again, we hope we don't offend anybody, but we're here with you and we're saying, come on, listen, let's do this. Is the truth of this, caller, is this: you've got about another year to go. maybe 2, and then things get a lot better. Now you may say, that seems like a long time. In fact, you probably are. The best thing that you can do is continue to prevail. We hope this helps.
Thank you. It feels so good. A few more questions, please. Kathy says, I believe my purpose is to help heal people with sharing my wisdom. Is this correct?
It is, and teach. Now listen, wisdom is a great thing, but more than anything, you are a teacher. Ask her if you would, does she recognize this?
Let us know, Kathy. Do you know you're a teacher?
Yes, we hear her already. This is great. Speak up, though. That'd be great to hear.
I can hear her saying yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a song, isn't it? Like a joyful song. Tell us, though, please.
Don't be shy. Okay. Beautiful. Isabella has a question. Can you please give me advice about my upcoming trip and experience in Ecuador?
What was her name, please?
Isabella.
Isabella. We would say this is going to be a good trip for you. Can you ask her, is there something specific she's looking for?
Let us know, Isabella. Are you looking for something specific? She did say, should others experience this as well?
Like, should others go on the trip with you?
Mm. Let us know, Isabella. Understanding up darker self and how to heal.
That's it. All right. So he talked earlier about shadow work, which he did. It was quite painful for him. He almost died. It was really bad. So as you talk about this is not really what you're talking about. We're gonna, we really like to respect everyone's privacy, so we'll give you a little bit of information without going too deep, Isabella. But what we will say to this is, you really don't have a darker side. So if you want to play like you have a darker side, by all means, please do so. And it can be fun for you to explore, but you don't have to. As we look at your soul, part of your soul mission really is to explore other places and spaces. You're kind of a traveler and a journeyer. So you might try things like ayahuasca and other things like that, maybe Peru, other places in South America. That part of the world is pretty indigenous to you. It's really good for you. But there's not a lot of darkness to explore. Some people have more. So if it's something fun for you to do, by all means do so. But we would say just go enjoy the view. Go and travel and have some fun. Do what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Randy, our beautiful brother Randy has a question. Any guidance, please, on ways we can fix, adjust, repair our DNA, ways to reverse where we are a GMO?
All right. Well, now this is a long topic. We'll start with a couple of them. One is water. Now, you talk about GMO, all this kind of stuff, and that is all great. What we encourage, and these are just, we would say, mild enforcements. Really want you to think about is this: water, water, water. More than anything, water is the root of all of your food system problems. Everything requires water. Please think about that. If you pick something to, let's say, fight, please make sure it's something that you need to fight. And for you, dear one, it seems like food systems is something that comes up for you. So by all means, please explore it and take your plight. The truth is GMO will go away pretty soon. More than anything, from our vantage point, again, we work very high, drop down low, and say, here are the things you got to fix. We're here to fix. We're fixers. Fix, 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 so you guys can get righted and get to a new place in space. Fifth dimension and on, which we'll talk about later if we have time for that, is this: water, water, water. So regarding the DNA issue, if Loren will have us back at some point in time, we can talk about DNA. DNA is too much of a long topic for us to get into right now. But dear one, to answer your question, really the encouragement is really focus on, if you really care about changing the system, the biggest thing to focus on right now for the human race is water.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I have a personal question.
Yes.
Where I'm at, there is an abuse going on in a river. and it makes me heavy-hearted. Ritual for the river in the highest order.
And this is for you specifically?
Yes, and an operation that is mining rocks from the river.
Yes, yes, yes. For you, we would say yes. More than anything, we would suggest action in ways that are more tangible in form. What do you think about that?
The good old lawsuits, that sort of action.
Maybe not lawsuits, but possibly letter writing or functioning in other ways where community and other kinds of services can understand the plight.
Thank you.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. It's bringing together the community in a whole new way.
It is important. Listen, traditions like that and services like that have a role for sure. For some people like you, dear Loren, who are excellent communicators and stringers together of community and people, you have that gift, you have that talent. The plight that you talk about is one that is, we would say, in need. Always remember the water, please. This will be a reoccurring topic that we have as we work with the earth and humanity is water, water, water. So we encourage you to use and exercise your gifts in a way that can make some real, let's say, real world impact. And we hope this helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you. It's encouraging, inspiring, and powerful. Thank you.
As are you.
We have a question from Abby. Could you please advise around why I wake up to pain and fatigue in the body?
Mm-hmm. Now, we generally stay away from health-related issues. So what we'd like to do, dear Abby, is abstain on our comment. We hope you understand.
Thank you. Here's Melissa. A couple more questions here, Metatron. Melissa said,
We love the questions. Keep them coming.
I was born super sensitive, and I just keep getting more and more sensitive enough that I find it difficult to be around anything negative now. I have spent most of my life in a dark night and have overcome most of it now. I feel driven to make waves still, but wonder if I'm just ready now to just find the joy and be in a loving community. Clarity on this journey. Please don't want to waste any time.
Yes, you are at a turning point right about now. Could you ask her if she feels that, if she's still on the line?
Can you feel that, Melissa? Melissa. Yes, for sure.
That's for sure. So the guidance and remember what we do Metatron on High is give you some, let's say, advice, and then you can kind of think through it. So what we would say is this, is you are like right here, if you can see the hand or the finger here, and your pivot point, and pivot point is where you kind of go from like this, wow, this, to here. So it is a relatively decent sized move in degree. It's a decent sized turn. It's a pivot point. So we see you as right here and the pivot point happening probably about right there. So we'd say you're a few steps away from the true pivot point. So we encourage you, if you feel comfortable, to allow the sensitivities and the knowingness to continue to grow. You are a special one and you know. And allow yourself to say in soul alignment, what comes, what comes, what comes, let it be, let it be, let it be. And as new ideas and opportunities, we think, continue to present themselves to you as they already are and beginning to, is say, okay, I see, I know, I'll go. And you turn, if you'd like to, if you wish, if you're willing, and you turn and you go. The pivot point from what we see is a very good, pivotal point for you that will allow you to move on to new and higher levels. Other questions there?
Yes, she's got a follow-up question. Is there anything I can do to support Indigenous freedom in the U.S., or is this going to unfold on its own with the wisdom?
Yes. Okay. Well, maybe have some interplay with her, Lauren. Maybe chat with her a little bit through you.
Melissa, I'm going to allow you to unmute.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Melissa, if you're still with us, you can unmute. Hi.
All right, I'm unmuted. Thank you, Laura.
Wonderful. Do you feel called to work with the indigenous?
Yes, I do. I have for a very, very long time. I just feel whenever I'm connected to it, there's something inside of me that just feels like there's something I need to be doing I don't know. I don't know what foot to put forward, but I just have felt this for decades and decades, to be honest. And
Sure.
I've done a lot of connection with them and ceremony and things like that, but I just feel like, but I question because I know there's a lot of knowledge that's being held, but some of the younger people are still lost, like many souls, period, and I just wonder if there's something that I can do. It's just that my soul gets so sparked. There's this spark inside that it's a justice thing, I think, is what happens. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of justice starts to rise within me.
Yes. When you say them, you mentioned them earlier. Who is them?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe them would be those who aren't aware or connected to I have such a strong connection to nature, and that everything that we're doing or where we're going, if we were in alignment and observing and connected, we would see the answers are there in front of us. They're there, but we're in such a hurry that we're blinded by that. We think that it's something else we need to find. And I find that very, very, very long ago, there was such a balance between their respect and honor and support. I mean, like I have this belief I've had since I was a child. We're all one, right? Like I feel just as honored to be in the presence of a rock as I do another human. I don't see that. I see the everything on this earth being just as valuable as we are. And I want to make this, I want to somehow help earthlings make this connection to this so that we can honor this and move back into a place of balance. But there's something about this calmness that needs to be, there has to be this calmness so that we can see through this veil, that if we're moving so fast and we're so busy, we can't see this. Oh.
Yes. So can we give you a little bit of soul knowledge?
Yes, please.
Wonderful. Now, realizing this is shared with the audience, are you okay with that?
Yes.
And we ask you this because we are a respecter, because you are a sovereign being. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
I do understand that, and I've gotten my foot into the wrong places before by allowing myself to be what do I want to say, a guinea pig or a spokesperson.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I should rethink this. Like I'm at that crossroads pivot point. I'm ready. Just tell me. I mean, I'm good. If I get put down and like I'm on the wrong path, I don't know what I'm talking about, that's good. I want to know.
Great.
It's all good. I'm a seeker, truth seeker.
So we say, dear one, there's a few things we'll say to you. There's a few layers to this. So please listen, take it to heart if you wish, if you'd like, if you are willing. Number one, research and work on sovereignty. This is our advice to you. It's up to you what you do with it. And that's sovereignty. We offer this up to you. This is a perspective, and you cogitate on it. You reflect on it. As we see you, this has been, let's say, a soft point in your life. This is a growth point for you. If you'd like it, the idea we offer up to you is research sovereignty. Ask yourself, your soul, What does it mean? How does it apply to me? What do I do with it? It will make you, we think, in our perspective as we look at you, a stronger being. Do you want to be stronger?
Yes.
Very good. Please, if you wish, if you would like, if you are willing, reflect on these things. The idea of the indigenous knowledge and everything that you talked about, what we see in your soul, you talked about a soul spark, we would see as a very keen, K-E-E-N, drive to, let's say, elicit change, I-E-E-G, do something. So please allow our input to be almost like a springboard, or like, you know, with a little child where you go, come on, go play, go play, go, 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 go. Is we're saying to you, dear one, beautiful, 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 beautiful one, go do something. Figure out who they or them is, as we ask that question. What's your play? What are you doing? What's your action? Work with your soul and listen. This is something that you probably like need to do. And all of you, listen, if there's something that you need to do, by all means, talk to your soul about it. That is your soul drive, driving you forward. Probably related to your mission, or in conjunction to your mission, or related to it. But let your soul drive. Dear Melissa, does this help you?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. And especially bringing up the sovereignty, because knowing it I see this, the clarity and the jurisdiction around boundaries, and I see a lot of things. I see a lot when you mentioned that. So there's a lot for me to learn and to take in. I saw a new way of sovereignty. I saw something new. So I appreciate this very much. I really needed this.
Very good, dear one. We thank you. Listen, all of you humans, if you all are humans, and you all are, we say you have a hard job here. Humanity is divine, it's wondrous, it's many things at a level which usually is like an everyday kind of thing. you got stuff you got to do every day. You got to get groceries, you got to do all the stuff. You got to live life, and life is tough. It is a hard job. Again, that's why we call you beautiful and why we honor you. Where we are on high, it's pretty easy. We don't have bodies, we just do. Yeah. We have a job, we drop in, we help you guys, but basically we just kind of give you the frequencies and the ideas and the encouragement that you need, and we talk to you through guys like him, or girls, whatever it may be, some channeling, this kind of thing that you guys like, because it's helpful, it's encouraging. These are like high ideas that drop down, and you go, wow, that's pretty good. I haven't heard it that way or heard it at all. And so we encourage you to allow yourself, first of all, to love yourself, be good to yourself. You got a hard job. And as you get these awarenesses where you go, wow, think about them, sit with them, talk with your friends or loved ones about them, make something of it. Part of the gift of this life is you create, you do stuff. You've got a mind, you got a heart, you got a soul, you got a beautiful body. You have a really cool body. It's a very cool system. We like it. We like it a lot. We worked on it on high. We helped kind of develop the idea and the patterns that exist up there and drop down low. So we like the human. We like Earth. And to tell you this a little bit, if we have time, is Earth is an important planet. You're an important race in the all. So we encourage you all, please do your best. Please wake up in the mornings and say, I'm going to do my best today. Soul, what you got? Let's do this. Let's conquer. Let's overcome. Let's triumph. Because that is a song that you sing. It's humanity. Humanity is not a place in space that's really up high where everything is. Up here, way up there, everything is. We're kind of talking to you on a long distance telephone call right now. We're like way up there. We drop the sound down low. This thing, this body is able to communicate it to you in the way that it happens. But up where we are, everything flows. You guys are down low. Earth is pretty low. But as it conquers and conquers and conquers, it moves, and Earth and humanity rises, and yes, it rises. And it's going places. So the encouragement to you guys is overcome, live. Other questions?
Oh, thank you so much. That is our time for today. So Metatron, thank you. You have lifted us to higher frequencies. Again, you've unraveled us from the denser thoughts. Thank you.
We thank you, and we go.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Addison here. Hello. Thank you, Metatron. Appreciate you, Metatron. Thank you to the Divine, who's here as well. Loren, thank you. I hope that was good.
That was so awesome. We will definitely have you back and go into more questions. Very supportive. Really such an interesting, higher perspective for everything that we've got going on in our life. I really hope that everyone watching and listening can feel relaxed on the journey because it's so beautiful. I just want to share, life is about overcoming and seeing the best in everything. Beautiful words there. Thank you, Addison and Metatron. Wonderful.
My pleasure. Loren, thank you for having me on. I'd love to come back whenever it serves. And to everyone watching, I wish you well. And good to meet you in this way. And thank you for allowing me to be of service.
And I want to have you share. This is exciting because you're going to be doing a few mastery empowerment courses. One will be with Metatron, and folks can work with you there even more. But I'm going to put the link in our Zoom chat, and it's on the description of wherever you're watching and listening to this program. But these 3 webinars, they are available for individual purchase or all 3 together. Tell us about this because, wow, what a treat. We get more time with you. Thank you, Addison.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you, Loren. And your team is great, by the way. I want to give a shout out to them. They've been really great to work with. So thanks to Tamara and everybody that you have working on your team. So there are 3 master classes or classes. I think one's a workshop. The first one is with Metatron, where you'll actually be working with Metatron for 2 hours. And the master class is called You Are. And Metatron will teach and help you all as a group and individually to know yourselves better and to ascend. Very, very cool. There's more details on Loren's website, the Neo Network website. Another one is an angelic healing workshop where I will be joined by the 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, and we'll bring through some high archangelic knowledge, and we'll share and talk about that knowledge. And then the archangels will come in and do a group healing. And it's frequency, sound, vibrational, sonic, and frequency and mind healing. It's really, really cool. You'll actually feel it and will help you on your ascension journey. And then the last one, I believe, is a soul work, know yourself as your soul workshop. And so part of the soul work do is I listen to your soul and I can talk with your soul and help people to understand where they are in soul alignment, like we talked about earlier in the episode. And so that's a really fun, if you're interested in knowing your purpose and your mission and making sure you're on the right path, this soul workshop would be really great for you. So I hope you'll come. And I think you even have the option of doing all 3. So if all 3 sound great, sign up for all 3.
Yes, what a beautiful way to continue to work with you and the energies that you bring forward. We're excited, and I know everyone is excited as well. Really quite exquisite today. So uplifting, Addison. I just want to share once again, even this morning, there was an instance where I had to get out of my head and go into a knowingness. And I even used a pendulum to help me be confirmed in my knowingness. And later it was confirmed that, yeah, I got that. So we all have this. We really, truly all have this. And you gave us beautiful tools today to go into the soul. We could say it's quantum, the quantum field, but it's our soul, it's our essence. And you helped us feel that essence today that we are. And that is a beautiful world where everyone steps into that knowingness. Congratulations on your book. And thank you for being here. We're excited to join you in those workshops. And I just want to give you a final comment as we say goodbye.
Thank you very much. I honor you and your audience, and thank you for allowing me to be in truth and to be of service. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Again, you can find the program, the special offer for Addison here on the description box. And Addison, we're going to see you again. Stay tuned, everyone. Thank you and namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.